Adikela, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today on this episode number 7, we're almost done with our series that we're doing for the Senzo Meyiwa case. One of the most technical aspects of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial has been the evidence relating to the ballistics, firearms, and the alleged murder weapon. Unlike eyewitness testimony, ballistic evidence relies on forensic science to establish whether a particular firearm fired the fatal shot, whether cartridge cases and bullets match a specific weapon, and whether the state can scientifically connect the accused to the shooting. This episode explores what the court has heard regarding firearm evidence, the strengths and weaknesses of the forensic case, and why the evidence remains central to determining whether the prosecution has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what we are dealing with here. Number one, no murder weapon has been recovered. What happened when they were saying that? So when Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed, there was the hoo-ha about a lot of things. One of those things was the murder weapon, which I feel like they did not give us full details, because if they told us when Senzo was shot and killed during that time to say, you know what, the wound is showing that he was shot with a firearm that is so and so, that looks, or the wound of this is from a bullet that comes from a firearm. So unless there is impossibility of distinguishing those two, this is a revolver that was shooting here, this is a 9mm, this is a sniper, this is an AK-47, etc. I don't know. I'm not a forensic person and I know nothing about firearms. Okay, that's a French language to me. But I'm just thinking, if they told us from the word go what firearm was used, I think where we are right now would be easier to deal with. But still, it's not that deep. Let's see what this means. Now, when Senzo was shot and killed, there was no recovery of the firearm. So without the actual weapon, forensic experts could not perform direct comparison testing between the recovered bullet and suspected firearm. That means investigators were relying on ballistic examination of the bullet, crime scene evidence, witness testimony, circumstantial evidence. The absence of the firearm, however, does not automatically prevent a conviction, but it removes one of the strongest forms of forensic evidence. So in this case, when it comes to the actual firearm, yes, it was not there, but the descriptions were given by the eyewitness. They said, most of the eyewitnesses in their then statements were saying they saw a firearm with a wheel, meaning that it was a 38 special revolver. Second situation that we had to deal with when it comes to this case, ballistic expert testimony. Yabona, when it comes to that, the court heard evidence from a ballistic expert regarding the caliber of the projectile recovered, firearm classifications, the likely type of weapon used, scientific methods used to analyze bullets, and this was Captain Chris Mangena that was dealing with this. Him and his colleagues, which were experts in my view because they work with this every day, explained how microscopic markings left on bullets and cartridge cases can identify whether they were fired from a particular firearm. However, because the firearm itself has not been, at the time, it was not found, right? So perhaps that's why information about Yona, it took longer to come to light. Maybe that's why. Expect now, the one thing that one needs to understand, what did Mangena do with the cartridges that were found to conduct a definitive bullet comparison or something? Just wasn't he supposed to run it through the IBIS Dondon to see if there are no links to any other firearm in the system or cartridges that are there or something? Wasn't that what we were supposed to do? But it looks like Mangena never did that. Also, scientific evidence versus witness evidence. The trial highlighted the distinction between scientific forensic evidence and eyewitness account. While witnesses described hearing a gunshot and seeing events unfold, ballistic cannot identify the shooter without additional evidence linking a firearm to an accused person. The court must therefore evaluate the forensic evidence alongside witness testimony and other circumstantial evidence. Now, this part, when it comes to what the witness saw, firearm with a will, and the firearm that Mangena tested. Okay, now what are you people saying there in this Senzo Meyiwa case? Defense challenges when it comes to this. The defense questioned aspects of the state's forensic investigation, including whether all forensic opportunities were properly perused or pursued also. The handling of exhibits, whether the investigation established a clear chain connecting any accused to the shooting. The defense argued that missing evidence and investigative gaps reduce the reliability of the prosecution's overall case. The state maintains that all evidence must be assessed collectively rather than in isolation. Now, when it comes to that situation, at the Madlanga Commission, we heard more than once, many times, that if you want a solid chain of evidence, please make sure there is nothing suspicious. So if you find a bag open, you can't use that because you don't know what happened to that item, to that exhibit. You cannot surely and be precisely saying, I am sure this is the same evidence bag, etc., etc. So we were taught a lot when it comes to that. Yet Mangena came to that courtroom of Judge Rota and told us that actually, when I found this bag the first time it was opened, now sir, what are you saying to us? Do you understand? Now, several legal principles arise from the ballistic evidence, burden of proof. The prosecution bears the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that a murder occurred, one or more accused committed it, and the available evidence reliable identifies those responsible. Now, how is Mangena going to say the same firearm is the firearm that was used for the crime if the bag was opened? Okay, circumstantial evidence. The South African courts have repeatedly held that a conviction can rest on circumstantial evidence if, when considered as a whole, it excludes every reasonable inference other than guilt. The absence of the murder weapon that is not questionable is therefore not necessarily fatal to the state case, provided the remaining evidence is sufficiently compelling. Is it compelling, guys? Is it compelling? Reliability of expert evidence. Expert witnesses assist the court by interpreting scientific findings. Ultimately, however, the judge determines how much weight to give expert testimony, whether it aligns with other evidence, and whether it supports the prosecution's case beyond a reasonable doubt. Investigative standards. The trial has also prompted discussions about evidence preservation, forensic procedures, crime scene management, and whether investigative shortcomings can create reasonable doubt. Actually, when it comes to this, we doubt very much when it comes to the firearm that they say is the one that shot and killed Senzo Meyiwa. There is so much doubt there. There is too much, okay? Now, the public is busy discussing, or their discussions are focused on several questions. Many observers have asked, how can a murder case proceed without recovering the firearm? Of course, they recovered it in 2020. They claim that it's the one. Should investigators have been able to locate after so many years? Yes, they did. Does the absence of does the questions surrounding the firearm weaken the prosecution case? Yes, it does, in my view. Can witness testimony compensate for missing forensic evidence? No. When it comes to the firearm, Actually, it's not compensating. Instead, it's helping the defense case because they are bringing a 9mm and the witnesses are saying we saw a firearm with a wheel. Now, of course, legal analysts remain divided. Some believe the state can still secure convictions through the totality of the evidence. Others argue that the firearm issue creates a significant evidential gap that may strengthen the defense's case. Ultimately, these are the questions for the court to determine based on all the admissible evidence. Now, should a murder in conviction be possible with a firearm or a murder weapon that is found in an open bag? That's question number one for me. What are your thoughts when it comes to that? How much weight should the court give the expert evidence, forensic evidence, compared with eyewitness testimony? What must happen when it comes to that? Do you believe the forensic investigation answered more questions than it raised? What are your thoughts when it comes to that? What impact, if any, does the firearm that is a 9mm compared to what the people that were inside in the house, what impact have on your confidence in prosecution's case? What is it saying to you? Because the people inside the house saw a firearm with a wheel. The state is bringing us a 9mm. Well, now, what's going on with you? Should forensic evidence carry more weight than witness testimony in high-profile criminals? So these eyewitnesses, should we disregard what they saw and deal with what Mangena says is the correct one? What must happen? Now, the ballistic evidence illustrates both the power and the limitations of forensic science. While expert testimony can explain how a crime was committed and what type of a weapon was used, it cannot always identify who pulled the trigger, especially when the alleged murder weapon is in this situation of being questioned. As the Senzo Meyiwa trial continues, the case is bringing more questions than answers, because now if Mangena says the bag was opened, and if the defense expert is saying those striations and whatnot are very questionable, what does that mean? What does that say about Mangena? Do you understand? Now, as the Senzo Meyiwa trial continues, the court must deal with all of that, and it must weigh the scientific evidence of both the state expert when it comes to forensic ballistic evidence and the defense forensic ballistic person evidence and the investigative findings and all other admissible evidence before reaching the verdict. So that is what we are interested in. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Do enjoy your day. Bye-bye.